And we are fully live, folks.
Is our chat through or just?
It is our chat as well now.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, no, it feels like it's a little bit almost commercialized, if you know what I mean, or like touristy.
Yes, definitely. I think you have to. There would definitely be some of that. There's a lot of it though that is, has lots of historical data and stuff to back it up.
Oh, 100%.
So that's the kind of stuff you want to
there's
see.
no way. There's no way they would have erected temples there, and the state of Israel will allow all that stuff to stay there if there wasn't like some serious research that gone into it. It is like an absolute. It's not just a shot in the dark. They threw a dart at the dartboard and hope that that's roughly where it is.
Yeah.
No.
It's their best approximation with what they have, but still. I mean, it just feels commercialized.
What are we doing?
What? We could warm up with SWAT, I think, and then yeah, I think we should warm up with SWAT.
Okay.
I don't know, you're the one who has to show your screen. No, I can just chill out and shoot stuff.
Ooh, SWATnum's first.
And I like you still there.
Yeah, I'm here.
Perfect.
Game start.
There's my neck pillow. I was wondering where that went. But yeah, the other thing is like in Bethlehem, where they believe the manger was where Christ was born, they erected a church there as well. They have like the whole where they believe the manger was. They put a cover type thing over it and all that stuff. It's like, you know what I mean? It's just I don't know.
Yeah.
One thing I do want to do in Jerusalem, they do have guided tours. Like they will take you on the walk that they believe Christ took with the cross.
Yeah.
We were watching a video on it though. And we're like, this would be super cool, but the only thing I don't like about it is that a lot of people like have almost gone a little too far. Like they'll walk down there with a cross, and, like carry it just like Christ did. And like the thing I don't like about it, like, I understand the desire to try and relate.
Yes, but yeah.
But what I don't like is that it's almost drawing too much attention to yourself. You know what I mean?
Yellow area.
It's like making a spectacle out of it almost.
Oh shit.
That's funny. A guy in the back on their side there is literally standing behind a glass window. You can't shoot him.
Oh, he's down in the bottom mid by the van right now.
Hit by the van. Oh.
Oh man, I didn't see the
Oh
guy.
shoot. Very slowly on that one.
Oh, no way, I got him.
Yeah, and they're crushing this right now, folks.
Yeah.
You're not kidding.
I can't even get a shot off.
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel slow. They're
in garden right now.
Where was that? Clink.
He's in
Up
gardens.
top.
Oh, where?
Beat sakes.
I feel like I was on that guy, but
Okay. Cover this side.
Oh my
dropping to mid.
goodness.
Oh, he's back right side where the orange gun
I just spawned. Leave me alone. Holy crap.
Oh, I shot him.
Not an easy lobby.
No.
but I feel like I'm.
We're in our
Like
butts
I'm on
kicked
their
6 ways
head.
to Sunday.
They're also camping her. Oh, I got shot from 2 different directions. They're definitely communicating.
Ah.
Call out what you can see.
I don't stay alive long enough to.
Got him, Clink?
That guy, that guy's been standing up there behind that one. Oh, what a word I can't say on.
Not nice person.
Oh, down at
That's
the bottom of
just
the
so
stairs,
greasy.
green area.
He waits down there until you stop shooting, and then he appears again.
How do you Clink?
Oh my gosh.
Just standing in that corner.
You guys are
Oh, and I
pathetic.
still can't beat him.
Don't push, don't
He's
push,
there,
don't push to get him.
No.
Oh, he's right there again.
Alan just
Got him.
trapping us.
Double.
Mr. T, you should come play with us. Just got your text. I'll also be able to see your chat if you send it in the stream. It's Nabbish's gameplay you're seeing now, not mine,
Oh, behind us in the garden.
which is pretty cool. I think we should do some customs as well. I'd love to have at least like 1 or 2 more people to do customs with, but
I was gonna say I don't want to do customs with
2 versus 2 customs is the end of the world. We can do free for all customs too,
Oh,
though.
come on.
Sniper shotty free for alls.
Oh my goodness.
45-21. Wow. Now this whole Onyx thing, Clink, you might have jinxed us.
Yeah.
Or left
I don't
up
even
the
know where
lift.
that was.
Jeez, they're helping each other camp
Is
too.
he in that corner, Click?
Yeah, he's back in the elevator there.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Oh,
Respawns. Did you really care that much about winning that you have to play like that?
that's 17 times.
Oof. Ah, it's first warm-up game.
They're
Not
plats?
the end of the world.
They play like that and they're plats? The one guy was a silver.
No, they were all plats.
Oh.
That's platinum 1.
Oh, that's plat 1. Okay. It's just not fancy, so I thought it was silver.
Yeah. Just the level
That was-
of anything is less fancy.
That was completely gross.
Yeah, that wasn't good.
Let's do another SWAT, and if it goes that bad, let's switch to some Slayer or just
Oh, Halo 2 SWAT.
Halo 2 SWAT. I don't mind too much. How's the stream looking and sounding? Or I guess you guys would have a chance to look after this one. Just happened.
That's doing that weird lag thing where it doesn't load you into the game.
There we go. Oh,
The layer.
Halo
Oh, I
2
hate
SWAT
this.
on this map. Be
I
interesting.
hate this map so much. Stream's smooth, but the what are you broadcasting in it? That does not look like
yeah,
high
so the
resolution.
quality doesn't look.
The quality's lower.
Yeah.
Make sure you set it, because it's all manual.
Ah,
Quality is set on auto. I also just turn it 80p and see if that's any better.
It's still gonna be kind of blurry. One thing I'm not sure I like about it.
man.
Pete's sakes. I hate
Where
this
was that
map
Clink?
so much. I have no idea. I got shot in the back of the head.
We're only down by 1. Let's...
Oh!
Oh, he's up by the Pelican. 2 of them, I think. Got a double.
God, jump shot there.
Oh, in the doorway, Clink ahead of you. 2 of them there.
Gained the
Triple.
lead.
Nice.
Oh!
You almost had the
I got
extermination.
over. Does it killing for me too? Oh! Whoa! I thought I jumped off the map. I almost pooped myself.
Huh. Oh, I missed the guy.
Oh, that guy's terrible.
Oh no.
I can hear you all, but it's like...
One
Trade.
guy by the left side of their bunker.
What the
He's
heck? That
camping
was
back
messed
there.
up. There's 2 in that doorway.
Thank you.
Oh, I hate how some of those little window slats you can jump through and some of them you can't.
Yeah.
Oh, had him. Yeah, I did get him. Traded. We are winning.
Yeah.
You
I'll let
can,
that doorway
if you
but,
tuck jump, so like crouch and jump at the same time, you'll be able to go through them all.
Halfway to victory.
Oh, man.
Ah!
Overkill.
Nice.
Where are they gonna spawn then?
Right where I was shooting them, but I died.
By their bunker. There's one guy that's jumping back and forth, camping back there.
No.
Target's in.
Because
No.
of that, because I don't know.
Abs to your left.
Oh, shot in the
That
back.
guy camping by there to spawn.
Yeah.
We're only down by 3, we got this.
Enemy in red yard. In their sight.
Where are they? Left side now? Oh yeah, up in Pelican. Pelican area.
Wow, one below too.
Oh, 2,
Gonna
yeah.
pop instead of-
Oh no.
There's one above, one below.
Oh, I got stuck on the
Enemy
beam there.
right then.
Oh, I'm not playing well now.
Oh man.
Oh, Pelican 2. Oh, tie game.
One more coming up to Pelican.
Up top.
Got him.
Got the one at the top.
Got another one.
Here.
Target's red and blue.
A double.
Oh, below Pelican. 2 of them in the room behind it. 3
I
of
got
them.
one of them. There's 2 of them down there. Ugh.
Top mid is under fire.
Got one below.
Or was that? No.
Right below the Pelican. 3 of them.
Got him. I got another
One
killing
more,
spree.
one more, guys. Nice win. Nice
Watch
win.
that one.
Came back.
I died like 4 times in a row at the end there. Otherwise, I would have had a pretty sick kill death.
Yeah, my auto
Nice.
was like 480.
You can leave it low when we're playing. You can just see what it looks like when it's on.
Yeah.
Does it look better at 1080 now, Clink?
Let's see here. Yes. Yeah, it does. Or what? I don't. That's dumb. Like when it doesn't put you on the higher resolution under auto. It's like if you have the bandwidth for it, pump it. Let's go.
Also, I'm like, why is it?
I like that
Auto
at least it has
grade.
transcoding no matter what, though.
You had. I got 2 killing sprees that game.
I don't know what I had. I had an overkill. Only 1 kill.
You and I had all the same medals except you had a melee one and I didn't. You also had whatever this skull thing, a first strike. A first strike and a melee.
Slayer.
I like this map.
Let's do one more SWAT and
And then go to Slayer
then, or Team Arena. I'll do either or.
Arena, either one. Not the bottom. It's...
Oh, coming up ahead of us. Oh,
Yeah.
another one, third one. Got him. Or her.
I corrected you there. Ish.
Well, it kind of looked like a her when I saw it, so I was like,
Coming up to your right.
Reversal.
okay, behind right. Oh, got each other. Whoa, their turf.
Ah.
Killing spree.
Nice start. I fell off. Someone
that
left
scared
on
me.
their team. Or I'm assuming on their team. Hey, Mr. T! You did figure it out. You can chat, how's the stream looking? Did you have to create a new, YouTube? Like, login?
Ah, oof.
I have not seen him for a long time.
This is only 3 of them.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
That Morshuo Imperium dude we played before. That last match he was in there. Ah, poop. Left side.
Heavy fire.
Coming out of
Oh, never good when it takes 3.
I can't believe I just shot the. Oh yeah. I keep on wanting to say things that I'm doing on mine, but I'm like, you know what? They can't see. You have to do that. I was supposed to say, I can't believe I just shot the guy. Wait a second, they can't see me anyway.
Crap. That was really bad.
Oh, you got him.
Shame on me.
Oh shoot, I don't even know where that was.
Right behind you.
Must have been.
Jeez. I feel like every time I kill someone, I end up getting a double kill.
Where was
right
that,
now.
Clank?
I haven't
don't know, I got
seen
shot in the
anyone
left side
now
of
in
the
a
head.
while. Oh, right in the back of the head. Nubs is the moderator. Mr. Jeranon. That login, but you're able to control the chat. No shell emotes, I'm sorry. You just need to become a monetized YouTuber, and then you actually can have custom emotes and sub badges once you become a monetized YouTuber. There's just not a lot of, I don't know how the feel is. Like, I just want to see what the difference is. If I had faster internet, I could live stream in 4K, which would be cool.
Well, there's lots of spaces from Heller for you.
The one thing on YouTube, you can stream in 4K on, but the latency's higher, like, so you don't really have a good live chat. It's better for, like, recordings, so you can have videos for later. Oh, right in the back.
Where is that?
Yeah, Triple S League has them, because, yeah, you have to get to 1,000 subs and 4,000 watch hours in a year, in a 12-month period. Like, not you, but your videos have been watched for 4,000 hours. Which...
That guy should be ashamed of that, which I know I am because, yeah.
That was not good.
There are some emotes. There's a monkey from Mr. T there. Are you all already subbed? I honestly wanted to see if the subscriber alert works, but I think you might already be subbed. I was setting it up, and it's a totally different setup. I've been really falling off the map here.
Aww.
Oh, spawn an insta-dive. He's just sitting in red. Oh, that was bad. Is that... Oh, I got him. I spawned in the same spot that I just died.
Oh, that was... Not see that guy coming.
That's behind you there.
Save ya. Oh, where is that?
They're on each side of the middle looking in.
I got the one. Oh.
Got that one.
Oh, thanks, fish.
I was getting shot in the back.
Oh, yeah. Got me. Turfy's right by you.
Going loud.
Nice, you got him. You got him.
Spartan
Oh.
down.
6 kills to win.
He's out.
Is your game not
How
going
did he
nabbish?
Oh.
There's Nubs.
Oh.
Now, I'm not even sure what you can do as a mod. But, oh, right in the back of the head. You do get a moderator.
You can pin things, remove chat items, you can... all that kind of
Oh!
stuff.
2
You
kills.
can put
2
links and
kills.
stuff in probably too. 2 kills. Don't let them game. There's only 3 of them. 1 kill.
Oh no! I didn't know that guy saw me. I was taking it slow. Oh,
Well,
got him.
Game over.
I don't know.
Emotes. Commands. Yeah. I think I have to connect... Nightbot to it. 1 second.
Jeez, I feel like I should have gotten...
Nothing.
definitely feel like I should have gotten more on that than I did. Kind of stalled out of it a bit.
I got 21 kills.
Yeah, I just stalled out for like the last 4 minutes. I barely got anything. Diamond
sure if
5,
Night-
baby.
You can post links, yes, that's for sure. You can also probably control chat, so... Where am I? Diamond 3.
What emotes do they have here?
Everything, Bish, push for Onyx. Eh?
I don't want to play in Onyx, but yeah,
Oh,
it'd be
shoot,
cool.
I forgot to back out of SWAT.
You timed out yourself. Those ones. Just standard chat emotes. If you have other emotes, like... Huh, that one's kinda cool.
Turf says pain, eh? I'm always like, whenever I see pain pop up above his head, I'm like, who the heck is that? And then I had Turf. Couple more wins, Turf should be in silver.
Sounds good, Mr. T.
I'd be buck.
That's exactly what I think.
I'll be back, yes.
You can only hear that in your head, in that voice.
To the chopper.
Oh, Swatnam's Full Metal. I'm not sure how I feel about this.
Well,
Hate the map like
I think it might be better though with magnums on here.
I wish
One
it was
thing-
the DMR. I love the
Nubs. Can you check and see if Nightbot actually works with YouTube? I know
Watch the enemy fire. Hurt.
they are not online with me, no.
DMR. Oh,
Ah,
Not.
that was really bad.
I think it's the same person you were talking about. Ah.
Enemy down.
Not tonight.
Enemy down.
oh my goodness, I'm just slow.
One thing that's interesting, so with the bitrate on YouTube,
Oh, we're back with
Oh,
the campers
almost.
again. The
Is it the
USS
same
Barb
group?
guy.
Yeah.
That's
Lost a friendly.
where are they camping? I'm trying to find them.
their bunker. Bunker we started out at, I should say.
It's at 7,500 is the
Ooh,
bitrate tonight,
I didn't
not
see that.
6,000. Oh, he's up top right with us. Yeah, it's just both. You call him out.
Wow.
I didn't know you're up there with me.
Me?
Yeah, he was like
I
right.
thought you were on. Yeah, I did.
It's under
Yeah,
attack.
right there. Do you get that guy?
No.
Guy in that hallway.
Stay out.
Oh, you saved my life there. That's crazy.
Oh, one coming in.
Okay,
Oh,
so
give me a spawn
there'd be
in
a way
someone's
that I can
sights.
add Nightbot as a mod, which I think is probably a link because you have to add mods with links on YouTube. You can't do it with chat. So there'd be commands and everything.
Oh man. Like everywhere.
Right behind you,
but
Clink.
him.
Oh, in the doorway.
Ah,
Oh,
Thank you.
one more.
I know Streamlabs is a mod already.
One more. Triple. There's 3 of them in their bunker up top. Something's free.
Okay, there's one up top by this pelican. Oh, I shot him out of the air.
nice.
I just got an assassination.
Oh man, that was gross.
Is he up top?
Beating is pretty bad here.
We're also
I
tapping
feel like
really
I
bad.
just started killing people.
The USS Barb guy is camping so hard, it's ridiculous.
Not even moving.
Hostile
Yeah.
down.
I could smoke both of those two. Wow, and he's back there camping again.
Got him.
Got a target.
There's ahead of you, Payne. There's someone
Oh, I almost got the
Coming.
triple.
somewhere.
How's nabbish playing?
Not
Chad.
well in this game. Oh,
Ooh, nice, nice. If you do any heckling, it's not for me tonight. What they want is probably to watch you beat us bad in snipers and shotties.
Downed him.
Reversal.
Hostile down.
We're only down by 3. Come back a long way.
they would come back.
Oh, I ran into the wall.
Kill confirmed. Hostile retreat.
What do you mean?
One coming into you there, Bish.
Whoa. Oh, just sitting in that corner, yeah.
Yeah, that's all he's been doing the entire game. He's absolutely terrible.
Taking damage about death. Contact. Red yard.
Only down by 3.
Shoot.
Enemy contact outside.
Oh, guy hanging out top there. We're down by 4. But we can't
See
die.
him
Enemy going down.
Oh!
Game over. Defeat.
Good
I
job not breaking
didn't
terms
do
of service
well.
for Twitch affiliates. So many people trying to game it. You mean by streaming to both? Because you can't stream to both at the
Was a
same
huge
time. It was a huge comeback. We almost had that. Okay.
Team Marine or Slayer?
Slayer. Or I don't know, let them pick.
Doesn't matter. I think this is gonna be my last one.
Aw.
Okay. Do you want to stay with SWAT then?
Don't matter.
too late now, but-
Whatever you guys are doing.
Oh yeah, I knew that. I actually read the contract with Nubs. I think a lot of people don't read the contract. It is kind of a crap contract, to be honest. I get why, but they're so tight.
It's told USS Barb to go back and play COD if you're gonna camp like a wiener.
You're gonna get banned again for doing
Oh
this
God, they're not gonna ban
unnecessary.
me for calling someone a wiener. That's like a kindergarten insult. You're a wiener.
I'm just saying.
If it's something that my toddler would say, then I feel like I'm probably not going to get banned for saying it. And if I do, well, whatever then.
So Slayer, remember, it's not SWAT.
Overshoot.
Oh, yuck.
Get to the overshield. Oh, I picked that up. They're going to get snipes.
Oh, I fell.
I'm dead. Or soda. Wobbly or soda. Is there any power weapons on this one?
Yeah, sniper
Oh,
up
one
in that
bullet.
top garden. I don't think Fish has it at the moment. Right where it spawns.
Okay, he's down below us to the right. Left there.
Got
Thank
him.
you. Across. Oh, perfect, killing me. Yeah, you definitely don't want to co-stream. It's a bit of a bad contract. Essentially, if you haven't read it, a lot of it's super boring, but essentially, you split revenue for subs, obviously. They get 90% of your ad revenue, which is the bad part of it, and they own all of your content for 24 hours.
You got a perfect kill on me? You got a perfect
Exclusively.
kill with a battle rifle.
But they also own your content afterwards, like really for as much as they want. Not just for 24 hours. They own exclusively 24 hours, but if they want to use it
This game sucks.
as well, they can later. Like if it's on their channel, they still have ownership rights to it. They can post it, repost it, whatever.
Oh,
This is
when does
quick.
the overshield?
So like you can't share clips from your stream for the first 24 hours. That's like I can't like put a clip off my stream for at least a day. Which isn't the end of the world.
Oh, I finally built something. That's
Oh, behind. It is easy to start microing on. You're right. It's also got the best community, so that was the negatives. The positives are that you have all this different cool stuff, like the emotes, and the sub badges, and the points. Like right now I can't use viewer points for anything, which is annoying. You know, like the summon dog, the sound alerts, the music, all that. I can't do that on YouTube.
Should not be able
Which, that's the part I like the best.
to. When does the overshield respawn?
I just picked it up.
Oh, you did. Okay, good.
Every 3 minutes.
Yes.
Oh, way. I hate this game.
It took me way too long.
This right here is exactly why I never play Halo. That's why I like to watch. It doesn't award you for being accurate. You have to shoot them a bunch of times in the body before you can shoot them in the head. The whole point of shooting someone in the head is that you kill them quicker.
Well, rewards for being accurate for not missing any of your shots.
What's that?
It does reward for being accurate in that you can't miss any of your shots.
Oh, I don't miss shots. That's why I always have 1 damage but no kills. This game is dumb.
That's why you need to have like 70% or 80% to get.
Oh, I died that fast.
Oh, sweet, I got sniper rifle.
Clink. I
Nice.
feel like
Yeah,
there's
it spawns
3
up here
close
normally.
to Clink.
There's 3 here. There's 1 off to your left there.
Whoa! Hello.
Nice.
Good
job. Another one.
Let's go bed shot there.
In front of you, Nabs. Got him.
Thank you.
Just stay together, group up. Push up this way with Clink.
I'm trying to
Ahead
get
of
that.
us.
Oh, the man disappeared.
Nice. Yeah, group up and kill.
Another one up above us. One
Oh,
shot.
I'm dead.
Way to victory.
Back out, guys. Or I guess you can snipe Clink if you want. Miss your points
Alright.
in
Hit him.
emotes. Yeah, I know.
Go Kane.
I hit him, he has no shield. Oh, for Pete's sakes, he's on me.
Ah.
I don't know how many
Let's
times
group up again.
I don't know how many times I can play this regular
Close
mode.
to Pain.
It's pretty
Getting it when we
frustrating.
played it last time.
Because I kept getting power weapons. It's easy to be good at it when you have a shotgun and a sniper and nobody else does.
I'm one shot this.
You get
Coming
reward
off the
for hitting
side.
people in the head when you have a sniper. Now it's like almost getting punted.
Can't see him.
You get rewarded for playing as a team.
Yeah, no,
one
you
shot.
get rewarded for just having good marksmanship and reflexes. Dude, there's so many grenades.
Nice kill. Nice perfect. Oh, I got hung up below. Where's Runner Mommy tonight there, Nubs? Look at that. Where's
3 of
Hamster?
them there, my ex.
I got one of them.
Yeah.
How do you switch
them.
grenades again? It's the up button, right?
It's the
D-pad.
D-pad.
Right on the D-pad.
Depends on actually. Sniper spawns in 5 seconds.
Where's the sniper spawn?
Right by where Nabbish is. I'm dead right now.
My ex.
Oh, there's
They're gonna pick it
Hamster
up in
right
other words.
there.
Doing the dad?
How's it going tonight, Mr. Hamster?
Yeah, the sniper was just. Oh, they picked it up. There you go. Poopy.
Well, I've yet to see if the sub alert actually works. They do have it, I just got hit by it.
Oh, dang.
Enemy team nearing victory.
Recharge.
See if you could wall run or something like
Ah.
on the Advanced Warfare and Black Ops COD.
I think they still have a sniper. Oh, 3 of them. Gotta back out of there. They're all up on the sniper spawn right now.
5 minutes remain.
Sniper.
Oh yeah.
Watch it, your shields
Whoa.
are down. They killed
Oh, I was not healed yet. You gonna come play with us, hamster? Some of these
I was
emotes.
hit by that sniper.
I'm by 14, guys. Guys and girl.
Ah, one shot on this by my ex.
Oh, just got melee coming up the chute there. That's stupid.
Yes.
That was the sniper you just killed.
rifles mine.
Oh, I killed the guy with the sniper, but I think I killed his side. Is that like flowers, Nubs? Looks
Yeah,
like flowers. Nice work. Let's group up here.
Switching to a light
Oh
rifle.
crap. Oh, grenaded.
One off.
Oh, grenades everywhere.
Got him.
Yep.
Dang.
Defeat.
Well, why don't we do 2v2? And
Well, depends on if
or is
Point of
Sure,
that.
for
Like,
staying.
what are we-
Stave?
No, I'm going to bounce out, guys.
You're going to
Have a
bounce.
good night.
Okay.
okay.
Have a good night. Thanks for playing.
Good night.
You betcha. Talk to you guys later.
Can you back out of the waiting there?
Yep.
Nabbish? Amster, you gonna come play with us? I know you're watching, but up to you. Actually, I'm not even
Wanna-
sure if I can tell who's in the chat. I've never looked. Oh, I can. That's cool. That is cool.
Ugh. Yuck. Yuck,
Or
yuck,
just
yuck.
back into Slayer.
Yeah, go back into Slayer for now. We should. We really should. It's not on her
Oh.
channel, but I could change the. Interesting idea. I do have that option. 1 second. I can change it.
Okay,
I
this
will-
one, this map does have two sniper rifles, I think, on either end, and the sword in the middle, right?
Player.
Yeah.
There's good power.
Sword is
weapons
my
on both.
favorite.
Yeah, if we can get the sword, and
I'm good
at
with
the
the
bottom
sword.
isn't there invisibility?
We need our sword yet. Okay, our team got the sword. Or, I mean, our snipe. You get it, Clink?
Got it. I got it.
That's from
Oh,
you.
what? Oh, I got sniped.
I'm getting shot from behind.
I also got the invincibility
Oh, perfect.
cloak.
I'll change the name at the. I'll put like Nabbish at the bottom after this game.
Ouch,
There,
getting
nuts.
shot though.
I just got rid of the overlay for now. I'll put that white name that you put.
Oh, no, I don't. Come on, shield.
Shields back up.
There you go, Clank.
Got him. I got a sniper rifle.
Nabbish, I'm right with you.
Good guy.
Sweet, I got the
Where'd you
sniper. Got the sword and
I think Clank got him.
cloak.
Welcome back, Mr. T. How are you doing?
Trying to stay alive here. I'm almost dead. Oh, there we go.
Behind you. Oh no, it's not either of you.
I'm in red. Anybody know where they are?
I'm ahead of you. I don't know where they
Oh.
are.
I'm really
Shoot! I'm
Over
gonna
there,
die.
apparently. Oh.
Oh no.
Oh.
Sword on my ex.
Killed by a grenade that I'm pretty sure was just.
They got the sword and they got the sniper. That sucks. They're going into the middle. That sucks.
Right hand side, bish.
We just played that SOAR 8 guy. Recognize the name.
Oh, if I wasn't getting killed by the guy behind me. Don't worry about it right now. Kinda need you. Guy in the middle bottom.
Middle bottom.
Positive too, but that's not
Yeah,
gonna
not
last.
going down there.
Oh, he's got sword. And invisibility's there, bottom mid. Don't let him get it.
Oh my goodness, someone has gotten my ult and blocked me there.
Drop down there.
There we go.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry.
Sniper rifle back on 15. Oh, I just got
I switched tonight to just try YouTube out, and I wanted to see what it's like. I think that you can get better video quality, but the community portion, like all the cool things you do, aren't there. So I'm not sure. But welcome to the stream. Is that an improvement? You like the actual label at the bottom now, Nubs? You can tell.
In the middle.
My guy with the sword is pretty good with it.
We group up and maybe able to get him. Oh, sniper, right at the sniper spawn on their side, got me.
Their side?
Yeah. You should make a,
Jeez.
feel awkward calling you by your real name. You should make a,
On the top where he went there, I just got melee!
make a runner mummy, like, YouTube account.
Ah. Now they have both sniper rifles and the
I stole
sword,
this.
that's
I stole
fantastic.
this sniper.
Did you?
And invisibility.
One shot.
Oh, we both sniped each other.
Where was he?
Got him.
At the, we both sniped each other, and he was, I think, in one of the sniper spawns, the red sniper spawn maybe? Oh, behind me. Nice.
Oh man. Thank you very much.
Oh man, 2 mid.
Ready with the sword.
I got the sword.
Yeah, pros and cons of Twitch and YouTube. So basically, you can get better video quality on
Crap.
YouTube,
Sword on my axe.
and overall better discoverability, like more viewers. There's more people watching YouTube, but way less. Oh my gosh, but way less community features like the emotes, the points, the channel points you can spend.
Ugh. Trying to warn you of that.
You can get custom emotes, but it takes a lot longer to get
These
them. You
guys
have to
do
get
that too.
1,000 subscribers. Oh man, these guys are decent.
Killed that guy so fast, Clank, when we shot them together. Oh.
It's alright, I like hit you with that one, Nabbish.
Oh my goodness. Really? How do you know I was
Bottom
down
mid,
there?
there's
That's
someone.
stupid. Ugh.
Hostile in blue yard.
This is not very much fun, not gonna lie.
Red base.
I didn't even.
Oh, behind me.
Jeepers. Yeah, I think I'm done after this one.
Really?
Don't enjoy this, it's not fun to me.
Enemy team nearing victory.
Come on. Shield. Shoot.
Sniper's back up. And I'm getting shot in the back again. Oh,
I got one.
red sniper's gone.
Yeah. Oh, he's back in their spawn.
Got one.
Oh. I don't even know where that was from.
Oh, the sword was right there. How's your game going, Nubbish?
Not good.
Not good.
What? Oh, that's so dumb. Shoot him 3 times in the head and melee, I mean, he doesn't die. Ridiculous.
3 of them kind of all right there. They have everything. We're not.
5
One kill we
minutes
lose. Let's do one, just the 3 of us, where we do the shoddy snipes. on the stream.
Oh, he's
Because-
teabagging me. How?
And
how
then
nice.
and then be before Clink leaves. Let's do the three of us. We got smoked. What? Wow, we all got smoked.
Oh,
Yeah,
that Sore
like
8 guy had
10
that sword the entire game.
The guy went 33-5.
He went on a running riot.
Okay.
Yes,
So frenzy running riot.
Here, just let's swap around. I'll be the leader. Easier. Or you did it last time. You know how to do
I
it.
can do it.
Just go Shoddy Sniper's the default mode. That was unfortunate is what that was. Yeah, let me look at that. You can re-look at our score.
I didn't stay on the scores for very long.
No, that's okay. Now we're just setting up the next game type. We'll do a private mode where we'll do free-for-all. Shoddy Snipers. Score to win 25.
What is game mode options general? What do I have to do? I just did Shoddy Snipers.
Game mode options. General.
12 minutes, yeah.
Go grab a
okay.
snack. I'll be back in a minute.
Slayer. Go down to Slayer. Change it
50 points? We don't want.
25 points. You gotta turn the teams off right below that too. This will be interesting. So basically what this game's gonna be for viewers, it's gonna be one-on-one, and we're gonna have shotguns and sniper rifles only, no grenades. So this is really Nabbish's, well, really all of our game type. This is the one that Nabbish went off and killed all of us terribly last time. Don't
set that up, 'cause I'm not gonna do that again.
now you're gonna stress her out. But change the map to one that you want. Don't do stasis.
Yeah, what do we want? Not stasis. What do you want? Trying to think of a good sniper one.
Do which map, Hamster? You know the maps. I'm gonna switch to live so I can see these better on your screen.
Not that one.
I could bring the puppy while we wait.
A rig?
Well, Nabbish sets this up. I'd be okay with the rig, yeah, because let's go with for shotguns too. Let's bring Mr. Pups to come say hi. Rocky. Rocky, come here. He's ignoring me, like fully ignoring me right now. He's gotten too used to this. Rocks. Gonna have to go get him a treat or he's not gonna even come.
They're in the cook at the one.
No, he came. Come up, buddy. Come here. Come say hi. Come say hi. Oh boy, come up. Can you see? No, you can't see. Or I gotta aim the camera down.
Oh,
further.
look at you even.
Oh, he's like standing up for everyone today. Oh, come here, buddy. Come here. Up.
Alright, I'm back.
I'll just have to like
He's
aim the camera.
expecting a treat.
Up here.
You know
up
that,
here.
right?
Up here. Hello. Okay, there he is. There he is, right in the webcam. Say hi to everyone. Oh, he's getting better at this. He's getting like trained. But he's gonna need a treat for that. Fix my webcam. His tail's just going. What is he doing right now? Sleeping. I just woke him up. Now he needs to go get a treat. I'll be right back after I get him a treat. Do you wanna make sure Clink knows the game? Well, now he's sitting right beside me, just like expectantly going, come on.
Where's
Hello.
my treat?
I don't know if you see him. He's like sitting right there. Where's my treat? Gotta be right back. After
Oh, I
I
had
get
one beer left. Scores!
Shoddy Snipers, Clink?
Sure.
I put it on the rig. We're thinking that'd be good for snipers and shotguns.
I don't know what that means, but sounds good.
Let's start with
the
our
map or
fish.
something?
Yeah, that's the map. That's the one with the basement.
Sure. Oh, I think I know the one.
Sniper usually.
Let's,
Oh yeah.
let's
the
start, and then
sniper
we can
nest,
just spawn kill Blair until he gets back.
Right. Oh, then he'd be grumpy.
So I got him a treat. He's here again. Here, come here. Hop, 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 up.
It's like, I already did that.
Okay. There. Right here. You can see him. He blurs out too much. There we go. There we go. There we go. Okay. Version of Summon Dog. Okay. So it's free for all shoddy snipers. How's the hot tub? Oh, so awesome.
I've used it.
Not
lot.
worth... Well, maybe worth the money of buying one. I think I'm
Can you
gonna
guys
need
hear
one no
my
matter what.
can you guys hear my nom-nomming coming through the chat?
No?
A little bit. Not bad.
Okay, it says I'm not transmitting, but I wasn't quite sure.
Oh, Clink, nice shot. I think these custom matches are more fun for the stream to watch because just all of us playing each other. You can see nabbish and us
Where'd
just
Clank
fight.
go?
You check the children. Oh! Ooh!
Huh?
That was really bad on my part.
Where'd you go? Oh! Nice one, Clank.
Can't find you guys. I'm getting shot from both sides here.
I hit
Oh, you're gonna join
twice.
whenever? Okay. I'll invite you to the party after this game
Oh boy.
and join in.
Go yourself. Oh, poop!
Oh, you fell off.
Who the heck puts a hole in the middle of the map?
Am roaring and reading to die or ready to die?
Oh.
There you go.
Didn't,
Oh.
I
How'd
heard
you
you
know to
coming.
turn around?
I heard you coming.
What a
Good
dumb
headphones.
game.
Good headphones.
I was gonna melee you. To try and assassinate you is what I wanted.
Oh.
Ah, nice.
Oh my gosh! What is it with this map?
There's a big hole in the middle.
I've gotten 6 kills, but I only have 3 because I've died 3 times to falling through the stupid middle.
Oh!
I was like, he came around the
What?
corner just when I.
I'm 2 and 4. We're up.
Oh!
Did you kill each other?
Yeah.
I got him with the sniper rifle somehow.
Best kills are the ones where you don't think about it, you just switch and
Just do it.
pull the trigger.
Yeah.
Whoa, like that one, Nabs? Just crush me?
That one out. Get you good. Don't screen
Well, I can see you
cheat.
right here. Not screen cheating. I'd be doing much
That
better.
is
But
definitely.
I wanted to see if it came up.
Oh, and then, yeah, Bish just happens to come around behind when the ball was going. Yeah, okay. I'm not screen peeking, I just
I
know
didn't
where
kill
you
her.
are. No, I know. You traded. Nice kill. When it's one
Against
shot,
each
one
other
kill
on the
is a
same
nice
team?
one.
I don't know.
Oh. Did you switch to shotgun?
Yeah.
That's fast.
Ugh. Snipers aren't my thing. So much cheating. Well, it actually would be easy. I'm actually not looking at her screen. It's delayed enough that I would, if I did, I would just die. A couple seconds behind.
Oh, I thought I had you.
You hit me. Ah! I hate that you don't get your shields back when you're sprinting.
Yeah. Kind of a good thing though. It'd be really annoying.
You can turn that setting off and on in custom games if you really wanted to.
Yeah, you can.
This one would be
Although it really
interesting if there
messes
was
you up
radar on.
Yeah.
What?
No! Just lurking.
Well, I could hear you guys just missing shots
Hear
over
us?
and over.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that's what it was.
You guys are pretty
Yeah, 'cause
loud.
it's stream, I'm
Missed
like-
that many times.
We missed once or twice each.
So 4 shots.
Hmm. What the heck? How many shotgun blasts does it take to kill someone in this dumb game?
We were just too far away. I think you hit me low with one of them. Is it?
Possibly, yeah.
It does beat the Call of Duty ones that can kill you across the map.
Ah, they're not that bad.
A couple of them in the new one are like so long. Oh, nice kill, Nabs.
Oh no, I knew that was coming.
Man, it's close. 876 right now.
Mm. Oh,
I duck and then Blair's or fish sniped you.
oh.
Oh, I shot for both of you.
Where was he? Oh.
Get sniped and then shotgun.
We trade or I can't see him.
No.
You didn't.
No.
Thought I hit you. Abs is pretty good at that thing.
Getting
Yeah.
better, hey?
But the thing is, she's always never been a sniper in the game. She'll always like pass it up and give it to someone else, let them use. Like, no, you need to use it more.
Well, I feel like it just takes a while to. I don't know.
Oh, I need to pull the trigger more.
Oh, I shot you.
What do you
there.
like better, Andrea? Being on the same team or playing each other?
Five minutes remain.
Wish there was a way to turn down my footsteps so I could hear something else.
Oh no, I missed you. Ah, what?
It's definitely far more fun than this stupid regular mode.
Oh, how did you... I shot... Ugh. Nabs is beating, but we're tied. Well, you fell off twice or whatever. But Nabs is beating...
I fell off 4 times.
Oh.
Yeah.
You would be winning then.
Oh,
Thank you.
Oh. I keep on getting...
Snapshot. I don't know what that means.
Oh, what was it called?
Snapshot?
Oh, snapshot. You just didn't scope.
oh no, I couldn't hear you.
I knew you were up there, so I just jumped up and fired the shotgun off.
I am struggling. You were too good.
Lost the lead.
I didn't even see you.
I shot you in the back of the head. I didn't even scope.
I thought I looked that way and I turned around and you weren't there anymore.
I went behind the barrier for a second, so I knew you were coming back.
Oh,
Halfway to victory.
Another one.
Oh, nice.
oh nice try.
Killing spree.
That was really bad. I'm both sad.
Did you both die? Oh man.
No, I lived, but it took like 4 shots.
Yeah, they're tied. I'm not tied with them.
Oh no.
Oh, I missed you on that first shot.
Yeah, I didn't actually get injured.
No, because I missed you like badly. Oh my goodness.
Oh gosh. Oh, I thought it was on the shotgun. That was.
Oh, I thought I traded. Dang it.
No, I didn't get hit. Close, I think you went right beside me. Can I do this comeback? I kind of doubt it.
2 minutes left.
Aw.
Oh.
I saw the light from the scope too. I saw the hard scope and I was like, oh, I gotta swing back out, and I didn't. Should have left my scope up.
Oh. How long were you sitting there hard scoped?
I just came around the corner.
Oh,
Oh.
I tried to line that up.
Oh, nice shot.
Just in time before Clink killed me.
It's really like a lot of different kills back and forth right now. Oh, getting shot from both directions. I dodged 2 shots. I dodged 1 shot, then another shot from a different way. I'm like, oh, this is not good.
I was about to say I missed you, and then I saw the other bullet go flying by. I was like, uh-oh.
1 minute left.
Where was that even from?
The moon!
I got caught in the middle between you again. Really, we should probably set it to 15 and do like
Oh, I didn't even see you.
Thirty seconds. Leader nearing victory.
Ah,
Oh, I was trying to snipe
10
you.
seconds.
I think you're gonna get it though. Can't catch up.
Yeah.
You just beat my avatar in Forza Horizon 4. Well, well done.
Game over. Defeat.
Well done.
Funny thing is, I could have gotten to 25 if I hadn't have fallen off the map 4 times.
Let's switch the total to 15 so someone can actually win in the time period. And get Hamster in here. I'm gonna back out and invite him. I'll invite you to the party there, Mr. Hamster. Hello. How's it going, Mr. Hamster?
so do that. Do you want to do? I know that.
Do that again.
Shot his snipers.
Can I add in
Why don't you just
Part
do
time what?
days?
Why don't you just do just a standard free for all with power weapons?
Yuck.
Loud.
Power weapons, you're just gonna pick them up and then demolish everyone.
No, you
No,
guys
do
just
them
had power
without.
weapons. Or just free for all? No. Yeah, free for all HCS. Sure, that works.
How about
There's no.
everyone
power
with a
weapons
grab hammer?
That just becomes mayhem. It's not really.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
That's actually an emoji in this? Wow.
Or
The best part is it
a
asked
sniper and a sword.
for review on the one with glasses, but it did not ask for review on that one.
Really?
Yeah. Melee only.
Making popcorn.
Or swords,
Ooh.
swords and sniper.
Melee.
Map.
What did you pick for weapons?
I did. What did I do?
Let's do HCS, like Pro
Yeah,
Series
that's what I did.
weapons, and then we'll do one just melee only next. But 15.
Map.
Do a small one. Do like. Which map should be?
That's big.
Pegasus? Plaza's actually okay. Plaza HCS. You do an HCS one. There we go.
Yeah.
Score to win.
What is...
Hamster, I'm inviting you to the actual game too.
Where did that go? Where was that? How do I go to score to win? Fish.
What?
How
Slayer.
do I...
Slayer options. Game mode options.
Game mode options.
Slayer.
Oh yes, Slayer.
Score to win. Hello.
Slayer.
Are you getting those crazy emails? Just like in the thing, or are they on your phone?
Yeah, just on the regular iPhone
Ah, this is a family-friendly stream.
keyboard setting.
Crazy.
Are they don't
Eggplants.
go on yours?
Crazy email. Like best thing, or the best is that nabbish had to allow the guy with glasses, but the eggplant was allowed automatically.
I was thinking maybe it's because it could resemble Hitler.
Slayer.
Oh, maybe, because that's why I'm like, why is this one asking for...
A guy with glasses and a full comb-style mustache?
And Nubs says it just comes up as X's.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Oh, geez, of course, bitch just picked up the sniper, so now we all lose.
You just saw last game how good I am with it. I suck.
Yeah, but when we're using stupid pistols.
First strike.
I hate this game.
Nabbish got a perfect kill. Holy.
Like, what's the point of picking a better weapon? You squat.
Overshield? Should put it...
Jeez, and now you're gonna have an overshield too?
No, it's gone. It's really short on HCS, especially on free-for-all HCS.
Should be.
Because
I shot you in the head every single hit I got there.
you only hit me once, though.
Oh, you glowed
Based on what my
twice.
health did. Oh, nice kill, Nabbish.
Ooh.
Nice
Nice
kill.
shot.
Ooh.
Ah, I just shot
Noob
just
comboed
beside
you.
your head. Almost had
Lost
you.
the lead. How the heck did I ever have the lead?
Whoa. Somebody
Oh,
camping.
grenade, nice grenade.
Hey, I was not camping. I just got there.
But
Gee.
I didn't have a clue where that came from.
Gain the lead.
Wow. Where were you even?
Above you. Behind.
Where'd it
On
go?
that
I
yellow-
killed you, but I have no idea where the sniper went.
Ah!
You should totally play with nabs and nubs. Actually, I'd be willing after in a little bit
Looking
to
for
switch.
the blue-
Let's play a couple of games so Hamster can play, but switching to Rocket League and actually,
come on.
oh, and then you could play Rocket League with us if you want. Nubs, yeah, nabs and nubs.
Abs and nubs. You just
So I take it this is not headshot.
I blew that thing up. It's
not
not.
what, sorry?
It's not
This is
squad.
not
you
It's
get
headshot,
just
it's
Slayer.
a-
Yeah, you do not get reward for headshots if you have a sniper rifle.
What?
Boop.
Sniper rifle in 10 seconds.
Oh, Nab's got the sniper again.
Okay, sounds good.
Sniper's up.
And then, now this has got the other one.
I walk right into that stupid
Oh,
grenade.
nice.
You.
Helps when I was already blown up by a freaking grenade.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
so dead
I went
already.
through it.
It went by me and hit you.
Where's it?
Uh,
All that crap that mid.
Oh! I stopped because I thought you were dead.
Oh, keep trading. I get hit by someone else and then get killed by a different person. That's all good. Nubs, different time for sure.
Oh.
Oh, where the heck
Oh my
did
goodness.
you go?
Of course you find me when I have no shields. Ugh.
That's happened, I think, 3 times to me already.
Ah! Jeez, nabbish as the sniper.
Not really good at it though, so.
Dude, that shit is head.
I had it
hate
3
taking
times, I
that
haven't got a
elevator
sniping
thing.
kill yet.
Yeah, because I heard you coming.
Always somebody, and you can't dodge anything.
Oh, man.
You're flying in the air.
Perfect kill. Naps, nice kill.
Oh.
Hit your right bumper button, ma'am.
Come on, shields.
You don't dodge with the A button, you dodge with the RB. Gives you that side burst.
The leader nearing victory.
I lost the lead.
Dodge with the A button? What are you talking about?
LB
Dodge with RB.
or RB.
My burst is the... My RB is the melee.
Ah, that's ridiculous.
Why I always have a stupid pistol?
Pistol's actually the only decent weapon other than the sniper.
Well, I'm way better with battle rifle.
Oh, nice
Can't
kill
seem to
there.
ever find it.
So fast.
Sniper in 10.
Oh, one more.
What that
Oh yeah,
stupid
it's
thing?
15.
Sniper rifles on the
Come
field.
on. Oh, someone got it.
Probably naps.
Someone got it.
Someone lost it.
Oh, that was bad.
Oh, both sides.
Holy Moses, someone just absolutely pounded me there.
Where'd it go? Oh, right there.
Oh no! I'm loading! What the heck?
No.
Why did it... Oh, what a dumb game. I had
Oh, come on!
Game over.
No.
That was super close.
Nabs wouldn't have killed me there.
I actually didn't know you were there until your shield. I heard your shield.
Yeah,
Like this
that's why I
time.
was hiding like a...
Let's do a melee only one.
Yeah.
Like Nubs suggested.
Okay, it has to be
Like hammers
How do
and
I-
swords?
backed up. Okay.
Hammers and swords make sense?
Could also do snipes and swords so that you can still smack people from a distance.
Actually, that would be fun.
I don't know how to set that up.
Then you
though,
still
so
get the speed boost of having...
Uh,
Get the speed still from the swords,
Just do
so
that,
you get a
like,
little
go
bit
to
of...
weapons on, like, just change the weapons, hit back. Game mode options. Starting weapons and vehicles. And then primary,
so start with
just a sniper. I think you were
How
at
did I get an
snipers
assist in
before.
free-for-all? Well, Nabs got 5 assists.
there's maybe you can't pick sniper start.
Yeah, you can.
Wow.
Thanks,
MR.
Snubs. You were at snipers a second ago, I saw them.
Oh, it's not.
Hmm.
Battle rifle, assault rifle.
You can do 2v2s in Rocket League.
Oh, sniper rifle.
Or we could do
Just go
force,
back.
casual force.
Oh man, so many. Sniper. Oh. Standard.
Nerd.
And then secondary. Sword. Sword that you were at it. You saw it.
Where am I? No, I wasn't looking.
Going. Other way.
Golf
Other
club.
way. That one. No.
Golf
that
club
was
is a
sword, that's
gravity
the sword.
hammer, isn't it? Just with a different skin.
They're all
Oh.
energy,
Energy
sword. There
sword. Let's do the
you go. Standard.
relic one.
Relic. Okay. Perfect. Just sit
Okay.
back. And good.
What map?
Save a copy of that. And then just name it sword
Yeah,
snipe
yeah.
or something. That works. You guys want to do different? What map are you guys thinking?
I don't know the maps.
You heading out, Mr. T? Thanks for stopping by. Have a good night. If you're leaving, Mr. T.
What the difference is between
Mhm,
Core's
good night.
Banquet and Core's Original? They look the same color, same label, same design.
Not sure.
I don't know. What am I doing? What? Where's the map?
Sit back.
Oh, I don't know. There we go. Guys have a map preference?
Nope.
Do
This one would be okay.
yeah,
One that
Coliseum.
doesn't suck.
Coliseum HCS.
Okay. Swords
Um,
and snipes. 15.
Yeah, 15 kills to win, 12 minutes lives per round unlimited. Yep. Good luck, everyone. For your stream tomorrow night, Nubs, Tippy Orc has a few levels, and I think Taco T might as well.
I don't know if she does or not. And it's working on his still.
Yeah,
I don't know if he
he's.
got it done.
I think
he's
building them is
distracted,
too
guys.
difficult, so he.
Well, it takes time.
Yeah.
What the heck is that thing? Put rocket launches on this?
Oh, there might be one. We didn't change the
Oops.
map. Starting weapons on the map. Oh yeah, there is a rocket launcher, I guess.
Eh, whatever.
You have
Oh,
it.
the sniper rifle I can pick up.
Yeah.
Is it no longer one-hit kills with the sword?
What? What'd you say?
Well, it should
No
be.
longer one-hit kills. Well,
It should be
Hat
one hit
or,
kills. You
Ham
can
and
block
I
each.
don't
You can block each other.
oh, that
If you, yeah, if you both. Hold still.
But then you'd kill me.
Yeah, there's weapons on the map.
Ooh.
What? I didn't even swing. I'm just waiting
If
for
you
the
would've
moment
swung,
to
it would've
pull the
blocked
rocket
it.
launcher.
Oh,
Boy, that was bad.
I'm actually surprised I got you. I shot like through Nabbish's back into you.
Oh boy. That was really horrible. Couldn't decide if I wanted to scope, switch weapon, not scope.
Ah,
Oh, balls. I went around the corner.
that block thing is weird.
Yeah, I don't like it. Kind of annoying.
Which thing?
I feel like I'm
Oh, and
swinging
you
a
can block with the
lightsaber with
sword?
the sound effect that comes out. Wow. Wow. Who picked up the rocket launcher?
Well, it doesn't come out for another 10 seconds.
It was out once already.
Oh, I had it
Rockets are
at
out.
one point. Oh.
Oh, no way.
Come on, chill. Oh shoot, that block.
Here's block, hamster.
Oh, you dirty. That's
There's only 2 bullets in it, luckily.
Oh. I want to win that bad.
Oh, nice shot.
Thank you.
I hate it on that walkway, just the tip of your head.
This just shot another one at me.
Yeah, I got rid of that round. Range you do.
Ah! Again, the same thing.
I swung and it didn't swing, which was kind of weird. I swung and it didn't swing again.
I swung too early.
Double. Oh, only second time I didn't do nothing. This
Sometimes
the
it's
old
just
Halo
like, I don't know. That's what I was trying to do on yours, and it didn't. It doesn't jump forward. It just swings. So maybe. Oh, where were you? Oh,
10 seconds to rocket launcher.
Leader nearing victory.
double.
Rocket launchers on the field.
Oh man.
how did you not die when you hit me? Because I was like a foot from you. How did that happen, guys?
I don't know.
Well, didn't I tell you?
I thought you got me.
Ah.
Back up. Oh,
What the heck? Yeah, you're cheating.
Game screwed me.
I'm just gonna switch to a normal weapon. I mean, use a power weapon.
You're a cheater. This just can't end until losing.
Double kill.
It feels weird to only have power weapons.
oh boy.
How did I miss again?
Who's? Oh boy. Oh man. Golf clubs, yeah.
I hate snipers. I can't shoot those stupid things.
I used the sword.
Well, I've been using the whole time, but you guys just shoot me from far distance. And
Some of us do.
Rockets in 10.
ah, stupid
Rocket
thing.
launchers on the field.
Oh,
Oh, I got sniped. From where? Yeah, hammers and
Bluebase.
golf clubs would be like crazy
Game over.
game thing.
Defeat.
I only died 7 times, but I couldn't get any kills. Okay, no more
That's me?
snipes.
Man, I'm pretty.
we do like just Fiesta, like a.
Yeah, do Fiesta free for all.
How do you change it so that
What's Fiesta?
Just random
So
power.
we all
weapons.
get the
random
same
power
gun?
weapons?
We all get the same gun at the same time, and then it changes
No.
every so often.
For 3 industries.
It changes every time you're
I
spawn.
like the idea of crap hammers.
Fiesta classic. And then just change the score to win and the team. Game mode options, score to win. Have a good night.
15.
Thanks for stopping by. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll talk to you tomorrow night.
15, yeah. So this one will just be random weapons in general, like good weapons, whether they be power or like a better version
I
of
don't know how to
standard
use.
weapons.
I don't know how to use like 80% of the power weapons in the game.
That's why
It's basically just variations of snipers. Which you get to
But if
learn.
you do, which map?
Are they
do you
one-hit
do?
kills to the head?
Well, any of the snipers would be. Some are better because they actually have like faster reloads and stuff. Yeah, Fathom. And then turn off weapons on map. Oh no, it's fine. Yeah, you're good.
Oh, that's fine in this one.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
Oh, we're in teams.
That's okay.
Just back, hit back.
Can't.
Okay. We're on the same team. So it's Hamster and Nabbish versus
Oh,
me
we're gonna get
and-
slaughtered. Oh, never mind. I thought it was Ham, and I was like, the two people who don't play Halo on one team together. Awesome.
Slayer.
This actually should be pretty even.
I'll just follow you, Ham.
Oh, it's Fiesta Classic. Some of these aren't going to be power weapons at all. But it was... Yeah, a lot of them won't be.
I
Oh,
got a
good.
rail pistol or whatever this thing's called.
I have no power weapons at all.
Up top.
Holy smokes! I have Roger right.
Oh,
Lead.
that was the
heck was that thing?
SMG.
Oh, I got a Spartan laser.
Do you have Ham?
Okay, where do you want to go, Clank?
Oh, nice.
Crazy. You're coming with me.
Okay. The Spartan laser. That's not the... You guys killed each other.
I don't
Oh,
care
nice
if I
kill,
die or not,
Nabs.
it's worth
Nice
it to
kill.
to that thing.
Where are you, Clank?
Wow.
Oh. Oh, Saw, look out, Ham.
Lead.
Saw's ridiculous.
Where are you?
Red side middle.
How the heck did I not
Nice
get
hit.
killed there?
Perfect kill.
What was
Close
that?
to you, sorry.
Oh, shoot. That was bad. Can you hurt your team?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, because I was trying not to hit.
What on earth is a hydro launcher?
So when you scope on them, it locks on. Then you gotta hit them with two of them. It's like a mini rocket launcher, but they lock on. They're lock-on rockets. So take for a second to scope it and look at them. If they dodge behind a wall, it'll curve and hit the wall instead of hitting them. But it's like a heat-seeking rocket launcher. You'll be able to tell when it's locked on. I don't know where that came from.
Enemy halfway to victory.
Coming to your left, quick.
Yeah.
Come back.
Gotcha.
I could see him coming the whole time. I just wasn't gonna say anything. So he was just hopping around, not doing anything. I was like goading you.
I caught on to that.
I was like trying to say yeah, do it, but at the same time, like, well, if I say anything, it's gonna be too obvious. So can't say anything.
Enemy team nearing victory.
Nice.
Stupid. It's too long.
Oh! Jet's gonna go!
Oh,
I want it! I...
Yeah.
oh boy.
Oh!
You got sniped.
I don't know where from, but...
Oh.
We need to learn what all the power weapons are.
No.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Game over. Defeat.
The hammer.
I'm like Thor.
Play some griff ball.
No.
No.
What's wrong with Griffball? Put the hammer down.
Do that one more time.
Yeah.
Oh, it was quick.
Well, you did put it at 15 to win on a team game.
Slayer.
True.
You said it to, I think you said it's a free for all.
No, this is fine.
Okay, this rematch. Good thing to win in a team game isn't the end of the world, it's just two people. Oh man, I have crap to start. Gotta try to kill someone and steal their
Spartan laser.
Say do I. We both do. What do you guys have?
We got the short stick.
Incineration.
I killed
cannon.
Even an incineration cannon, I have a Spartan laser. That seems a little not fair.
Yeah, come.
I killed Ham with it last time. Oh, dang it. I almost had it off. You have to hold it the entire length, right? Like, if you let go, it stops.
Yeah, you can't let go. Okay.
Oh, got her. Thanks for the cannon thing.
That thing you kind of charge up and then shoot a little bit. It's a rocket launcher, but you charge up the rocket launcher.
This thing's kind of cool.
Yeah,
It's
that's
a little
good one.
OP, but
Yes.
Oh,
I think it's actually
an
crazy.
SMG is really good, yeah. SMGs are fun.
Fire on that incinerator!
Oh, shoot, I knew he was coming.
Good distraction.
Ah.
Oh, what the heck am I doing?
apparently you're taking a scatter shot according to your call out.
Well, my guy said that.
Yeah. Taking a scatter shot. Oh, here comes Ham with the grab hammer.
Jump
Out
him
of ammo.
behind you.
Enemy halfway to victory.
Dubs.
Up there.
The dubs.
I'm hit!
Yeah, I'm just gonna stand where you stand.
Team nearing
Oh.
victory.
Those grenades, you damage them hardcore with grenades.
Yeah. We both threw 2 at them, so that kind of happens. Oh, I got 2 melee weapons.
Two melee weapons. Well, someone gets a sniper, you're in trouble. Move fast.
Dang.
Oh boy. What was that? Oh, I'm dead. I always forget to check what my secondary weapon is.
What the heck is this thing?
That's a really good sniper rifle if it's the one you picked up from mine.
In general with rockets, hamster, aim at people's feet. At least it blows
Yeah,
up, right?
yeah, I know.
Like, okay.
I don't die.
Quick, it's
I die
killing me.
immediately anyway, so.
That's generally the point of this.
Yes, but yeah.
The,
Over.
One more for good measure.
let's switch it up to some You don't do Rocket League?
I'm good at that.
I think all of us play on the same team though.
I
No?
have 25% accuracy.
25. Yes, no, maybe.
I guess. I don't think anyone wants to watch me play Rocket League though.
Just do locals, 2v2, or we could do 4v4. It's chaos and it's casual anyways.
Let's do orbs.
Yeah.
Like just to be on a team.
League is what we're doing?
Yeah, let's switch to Rocket League.
Forza. Not to be confused with Forza. Mm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Tell
I
them to
really
stay down.
hate the fact that they put, like, when you do your friends list for invites in Rocket League, I really hate that it puts your entire friends list in there. It's like, why not just the people that are in the game? Or at least prioritize them. Failed to join.
Really?
Send it again. Could be because I invited you.
Way too many faces in the crowd, but I think that I see you. One too many drinks got me changing up the way that I need you.
There we go.
Now we're both at a bar, acting like it's not hard, trying to feel something.
Did you all get my invites?
Talk to somebody new,
Yeah, I don't know if Ham did or not.
was you kinda numb to the feel.
Sometimes they don't work, so I'm not sure.
Or I think
Yeah, I accepted it, but I'm still loading into the game.
It's been too long, couple months and I can't seem to move on. I can't seem to move on.
Doesn't work, just let me know.
Yeah, it must not have worked because I wasn't in the game yet. Oh no, I'm there.
Oh, you're here now, yeah. Okay. Casual 4v4.
Laying on my floor thinking about all the things that we did.
I like your chats there.
From 24/7 to pretending like I never met you.
Figure I could talk, but I could also just keep the chat active.
Oh yeah, for sure.
there's a hand sanitizer.
Hand
All right,
sanitizer bottle, I love it.
I'm up front.
Okay, I'm very back. There won't really be a rotation with 4, but I'm gonna try.
I like that one too.
Okay, Nabs, you can push.
Oh.
I'm right behind you, Clink, a ways back.
Oh man, I was expecting to hit it.
There's a lot of people missing.
Oh,
It's frustrating when you're expecting them to hit it.
oh, I
and
ran into so many
Oh,
people
shit.
there. I'm up front ahead of you. Oh, he stopped it.
Oh my, hit the ball.
Oh, can't get up quick enough for that. Nice clear ham.
Nice ham.
Hate it when I'm already driving and I try to go straight up. Oh, I just got launched.
Oh my gosh, I spend more time going around in circles.
Keep it going. Oh, no, you're not coming. Up front. Oh, you had that.
Oh,
Nice work, guys. Oh,
Oh,
little deflection. Good job.
Grenade.
go, go, go.
Little dribble.
Clear net, even though there's 3 people there.
I just kind of dribbled it, but I was looking where they were, and I was like, I'll try to put it between them.
Ah, good shot.
I was a little bit lucky, but I did think about what
I'm
I was
back.
doing. Sorry, Nabs.
What happened?
Oh gosh. Thanks, good clear. Oh,
Oh. I wanted to try and hit it with the roof of the car, or
Oh,
with the
man.
underside.
oh.
Whoop.
These guys are really bad. It's awesome.
2 of them are AIs, I think.
Nice one.
Saved it, but... Come on, push out. I jumped too early.
Oh,
Good clear. Good clear. Oh, that went really far. Finish it off him.
oh, nice.
Nice shot.
Nice shot.
Nice shot. Did you roof hit that, Nabbish? Did you
I
roof
don't
hit
know.
that? No?
I don't think so.
Nabbish and hammer up, I'm back.
Oh,
Oh,
had
Oh,
no boost left. And I didn't hit it right.
oh, that's not good. Oh no!
Oh, no, no, no. Oh,
Nice save!
what a save.
Definitely an epic.
That was an epic, yeah. That was like almost in the corner.
Oh, balls.
Oh, I totally not expecting to get to buy you. I should have just... Ah.
Nice play.
Oh, what the heck did I...
There.
Almost had it.
Ah.
Oh,
Oh, I hate it when it
Durham.
comes down straight above me.
That's the worst.
Can't read the thing at all where it's going.
Ah. Nice
Oh,
save.
wow. Did somebody ever get that? That was a hard shot.
Oh, that's a good clear.
I was hoping they'd be dumb enough.
I should have cut that harder.
Oh,
Ooh,
Oh, I got over top of
someone
me.
just cleared that right past me.
Nice, 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 nice work.
Every time I see your guy, Blair, I just think he looks East Indian.
It does look a little like...
He looks super dark.
That was a fun one.
Yeah, those guys were not very good, but yeah, it was good.
That one save I had, like, basically ran into the corner of the post at the same time was pretty crazy.
That freaky
Just
Shank
been-
on their team literally had 2 points. How do you play a full game of Rocket League and have 2 points?
oops.
Yeah.
Tam and Bish, I'm back.
Good play. I don't have any boost
Oh
right
yeah,
now.
there's an aerial. There's an aerial.
Ah,
I don't have any boost. Oh, I had that shot.
Alright, bitch. You should gotta tell me that.
I had no boost, so I wasn't sure if I'd get there, but... Oh. Oh, I got ran into you right then.
Aw.
Oh, clear. It's going in.
Go, 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 go!
I just started smacking everybody towards the net.
Yeah. I think I ran into the guy that, like, hit it in. Or you did. Like, someone went flying on their team into the ball.
Yeah, that was me. I just hit like 3 people into that ball. Oh, now we got an AI on their team, I think.
Nice one.
Oh, nice shot.
Nice!
I don't know how they all missed that. There's 4 people there.
That's
That was
bad.
perfect.
That's pretty bad.
I'm top
bad.
left.
I'm back. Oh no, I guess Nabs is back.
We have 4 right now, Gavin, but
Ah, poop!
I mean, if we go to privates, we probably could. How you doing tonight, by the way? Thanks for stopping by. We're just
Yes.
playing Forest Casual, so it's already pretty much full. Oh, nice shot, nabbish.
Cool if Chewy would come and play, because then we could do 3v3.
And we could do like we could do a custom 3 versus 3. Right now we'd be off balance. We need one more person, then we could do custom 3 versus 3, and then Gavin
Is Chewy on?
could join us. Not against the idea though, if you'd like to
no.
play.
He's not currently, but
Need to find one more player so we can go 3 versus 3. I'll stay back. Oh, and I'm pushing now.
Oh.
Oh, no. Job, Clink. Oh,
poop.
oh, I need boost, man. Ah, Winkers took it from me.
One trick for you, Ham. If you ever need boost, and you need to get back, but you can't seem to get it. If you do the
yeah, we'll go
diagonal
into
jump
private
forward,
with...
if you keep doing it, like you do it 2 times and land flat, you end up getting supersonic anyways.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh,
Go
I ran
Bish,
into
Go
them.
Bish. Yes.
I got it in
I did
anyway.
not get an assist for that. I got robbed.
You wanna do 1v4 on us? You could probably beat us.
He'd be the one. Problem with 1v4 is that when you have that many people, like it's easy to screw each other up.
He's high ranked, he'd probably beat us, no problem.
Nice.
What rank is he?
What rank are you normally, Gavin?
What rank did he say?
He hasn't said yet. You will see. No, I want to know what rank you are. Out front for you, boys. Oh, I don't believe you.
They say GC.
He said gold.
Ah. You don't believe him because you think he's smurfing, or you don't believe him because you think he's
Well, gold isn't
Worse
very
than
good,
that.
so.
no.
Oh, nice for him.
I mean, we can try if you want.
No.
Oh, I ran into you, Ham. Sorry. Oh, how that came back so hard. Well, after this one, we'll try it out. After this game, we'll do a private. I'll create a private 1v4. I'll just create a private match and create a name and password.
Oh.
Hey, Maximus, how are you? We're looking for one more to play with us. We can do 3 vs 3 privates.
Oh, check this goal out.
How you doing
That was
tonight?
cool.
Still terrible at Rocket League, but it's fun. That was a good one, Clink. Like spin it off your tires and put it top shelf.
We should switch it over to.
That's true, we should switch it over to my capture.
Yeah, no one wants to
So-
watch.
Oh, that was a
Nice
decent.
shot.
Hi.
Ah, poop. I did that way messed up.
Whoa.
Oh, how did I miss
Forge,
that?
You're just constantly
Kidding me?
Getting...
Try to pick it up on my tail.
Oh,
You don't have it installed and you're probably worse. You should install it and play it. It's fun just to mess around with community nights and stuff. But like PC or whatever, like you can play it on anything. And cross-platform. That's always good. Good luck with that kind of job you're looking for.
oh,
Nice.
Nice.
yay.
Nice shot.
No
Oh,
one
I
wants to
missed it.
watch me. I'm just the top of our team.
It's been a lot of time going in circles. Maybe that's
She's-
what this game's all about.
Yeah, there is a lot of patience as far as if you're going to play at a higher level anyways.
And I can't do neither.
Pretty much better than Fortnite.
Yes.
Ah, poop.
Cleared it.
Go, go, go.
That's in.
Nice.
Yeah, too. So if you haven't noticed, this is Nabbish's game capture right now on the screen tonight. It's the first time she's actually streamed it, and the first time we streamed on YouTube. Normally we stream on Twitch, so digital creative PR firm, nice.
Whoa.
Ooh,
That one went a long ways.
how far away is that from you? I mean, remote wouldn't matter, I guess, but
Nice, man. Go, go.
do you want to switch? It might.
Oh, nice if you don't have to move.
Nice if you don't have to move. That's a ways from you, though. I can't remember exactly where you live. You don't have to say it on the stream.
Are you backing us out to do the 1v4?
Yeah.
Curious what this guy's rank is.
We'll see how Gavin does against us. I am not 12.
If he's good, he'll be a GC or at least a champ. If he's not
Creating
good,
a
he's probably
custom
a
game
plat.
right now.
Probably a plat who's
How do I
overconfident.
get...
Just exit to
Everybody
main
who's
menu,
coffee
everyone.
in this game is almost always a plat. Sometimes they're diamond. Almost always a plat.
Okay, we'll just do standard. No bots, name, password. Okay, so, Gavin, the name of the match is bbish801. No capitals, no spaces. And then the password will be nabbish, the same way as it's spelled on the
Other
stream.
side of the country. Yeah, just little ways.
That the same
Well,
thing
you
as
wanted to go 1v4, so we can mix up the teams and stuff in a minute if we can get one more person to play, but I can do 3 versus 3. So yeah, bbish801 and password is nabbish. Did you? Yeah, you guys are coming in. Good.
don't join a team yet, right? Until
Don't
everyone's
join
in.
a team. Yeah, I can type in Shep. You mean like the name and password?
I got it.
Nabbish will do that for you right now.
Right? 801 you said?
Yeah.
01.
So name is bbish801, password's nabbish. We'll wait till you get here till we join teams. Still have no idea if my new sub alert actually works.
Let me go unsubscribe and resubscribe, see if that does anything for you. Alright, ready?
It should, in theory.
He's
Yeah.
here now. Ready? So which team are we? We'll go blue? Yeah, he went.
Okay, he went.
Blue.
I resubbed it. Doesn't look like it did anything. So it's a 0 out of 5.
Okay, we're all going blue. Good luck, Gavin. You beat us, I'll be embarrassed, but good on you.
Nabbish, you're up.
Hamster, where are you? Good hope.
Oh my goodness.
Whoa, I just lagged.
There he is.
Is that gonna be the...
I got the clear.
I was trying
Good
to do
try.
a triple is what I was gonna do.
Good try, Gavin. You almost had that. Splash. Play splash. I'm back. Good job, Ham.
See, that's like I can't do that.
Got to save for that one. Got it.
Come on, front clink.
Yeah, I don't know who knows.
Oh. Oh.
Oh, good clear.
Oh, I thought I got him.
Oh, what? How did that stop?
Really, if we wanted to be really big buttheads, we could just keep demoing them. Because with 4 of us and one,
I had that thought.
chance.
Oh, we all.
I got it.
Right into the...
We ran into
I was
each
gonna
other.
go for it, and I thought you guys had it.
Yeah, and then I...
We ran into each other. All good.
Oh, nice.
That was a nice aerial.
He was trying to airdribble
Oh.
up there, I think.
I get lost once I'm on the wall.
Oh. Oh, I missed it.
Miss. Ah,
Good play, Ham.
no boost.
I think he's a plat. That's my guess. Plat 1, plat 2 maybe.
The same as our. Oh, I thought you had that. I thought you had that.
Should have had it.
I looked away for a second to see who he was, and I thought you were clearing it. Good goal.
Should have. Went a little too late.
Nice goal, Gavin.
Go in, go in. Nice.
Oops, was that right? You're trying to type in chat or something, weren't you? Delayed start. I'm gonna chip it over and I missed it. That's almost on net.
Oh my gosh, that was awful.
Damn, I thought you had that.
Oh,
Oh my
Couldn't get up
gosh.
high enough.
that was
I
an
hit
easy
that on the
goal. I
wrong
just screwed
side.
up there.
Oh, I always forget I have that double jump.
Go
Clink.
guys.
I blew him up anyway.
Yeah.
Well, I just
I was getting
figured out
ready
how
to
to
stop
barrel
that in
roll.
case he overtook me. Yeah, he's doing the speed flip for his kickoff.
It's hard to line up and get on time though.
Speed flipping?
Oh, I got the boost.
Ah,
Because I'm not really speed flipping, I'm still getting there first.
Ah,
Oh.
I missed
Push, push, push.
Oh my
you had
gosh, I
that.
had no boost. I had no boost.
oh bish.
Good save.
Good save.
Good save, Gavin.
There you go, Hannah.
Oh, I tried to blow him up.
Oh, that's really bad.
Oh,
Oh, dang it.
Oh, nice.
Oh, no, I did not get a good hit on that.
Oh, you blocked it, that was the key. Push, nabbish.
I'm trying.
Oh. I heard a boost coming.
He just aerial back to his net.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, Clink.
All good.
Ouch!
Oh my gosh.
Hitting each other. Oh man.
That's
Got ran into
definitely,
twice on the way to the
take
ball.
off there.
Low 5. I don't know how that was. Did I push you into it?
You gonna tell us at the end of this what his rank is?
He said gold.
gold.
I thought he was trolling.
Might be.
I'll say I don't see too many golds trying to do air dribbles. You also don't see very many that know how to speed flip either.
Oh, good pass, Sam.
That's perfect.
The game splash.
Back to fours.
Back to 4s. Thanks for playing. It's fun. You guys all have to back out of the game for it
I
to
did.
go out the menu. There we go.
Forza's still manic, but it is kind of fun, and especially because it's casual, nobody gives a rat's behind anyways.
Thanks for playing, Gavin.
I don't know how to get the comments back on this stream here.
I had to refresh it.
Oh, I clicked something else, now I see all your videos.
Oops.
Like it's just showing me your YouTube videos.
It's not showing the stream anymore.
Oh my goodness. No, I'm still watching the stream, it's just showing me the YouTube videos, the comments.
Oh,
Oh.
I don't know. Like I said, YouTube streaming is totally new to me. Oh,
Oh my gosh, that was
Lap
really,
2,
really
okay.
bad.
that's kind of what I figured.
Oh,
I told you it was
Because
a
we
flag.
normally are like gold 3, Clink and I. We're still getting used to playing the game, and
I don't think I'm.
most people don't
even
air
ranked.
dribble like that in gold. Or even really aerial that
Okay,
much.
I'm normally flat 1 and 1v1.
Yeah. Clink is plat 1 in 1v1s, but The sad thing is, my 7-year-old son is Plat 3.
1v1?
No.
Two versus two. He likes 2 versus 2. Right?
Yes. But he did win a 3v1, where he was the only player in ranked.
Mm-hmm.
Tear up the walls.
Yeah, that's what I get. Well, I'm lost all the time, I feel like.
Nice little chip.
Oh!
Oh, he
Get out of
saved
the
it.
way.
Sorry, Ham. Kind of helped you stand there. What is going on? Oh, wrong way.
these
I
aerials.
flipped.
Everyone's flying everywhere.
I hit it, but it didn't go the way I wanted it to.
I went for a block because I thought they were going to block it, and then I just missed the ball completely. Welcome to Force.
Get. Go, go, go. Nice.
Musty. I feel like the name sounds familiar. I gotta say,
He's
I'm relatively
Musty
new
Cow.
to...
He's a Rocket League YouTuber. Got a couple million subs.
Yeah, I should look it up. Like, I'm relatively new to Rocket League in general, and the videos. I normally play first-person shooters. But I am starting to really love Rocket League and get into it, so... Need to practice.
Oh.
Oh, good save. Couldn't push it by their whole team. I tried.
Nabbish.
Oh, I put it too far. I guess getting pushed from behind too.
To get into Diamond, you just need good mechanics. To get out of Diamond, though, you need
Really good reflexes.
I was gonna say good rotation.
Oh, what?
Situational awareness.
It's like hockey.
Nice.
Well, kind of. I missed the net badly.
Oh. It looked.
Coming around. Oh,
Nice
I'll have
ham.
to look.
Go, go.
nice,
Nice.
hamster. Good goal, buddy. You crushed, like you brought it in, went through them, came back around and
good
knocked
grief.
it in. Good job.
That first guy's probably hating his life right now.
I'm back.
He loved it. He wants to get better at it, but
I have a couple of buddies that are really good at this game. They, one is, I think, a champ 1 or champ 2. He,
Oh, wow.
Oh, really?
it was funny though. It's like he asked me, like, "Are you any good at this game?" When I first started playing, I was just like gold 1, gold 2. Like, yeah, I'm okay. I'm not bad. And
then you actually realize.
You know, well, I thought gold. Yeah, that sounds pretty decent. But no, if you're gold, you're garbage. In Rocket League standard, anyways. Until you hit diamond, you're pretty bad.
Oh, tried to dribble over him. I'm sure he would enjoy it. He doesn't really party up with people yet just because of how young he is, but he, oh, that's a high one I should have gone for. Oh, so close. You almost had that on net.
Oh, you.
Are you
With a
actually
little too
12 or
much
are you
power.
kidding about that too?
Nice.
That ball was bouncing all over the place.
I don't know how I actually scored that. I got a demolition somehow.
Yeah.
Oh, you
Demoed that
pushed
guy
me
when
into
you
the
jumped
player and then I got a demolition.
Yeah.
Those get more demos when you jump into them. Get an extra momentum gift from it.
You are actually 12, okay. Cool.
Oh, you what?
Oh,
Chris.
I got it. Right on the 1 second marker. 6th grade. You in the States or in Canada, or where are you at?
Also, what's your address, middle name, and
No, don't fail that.
service
Yo, yo.
number?
I was just trying to figure out, it's 11:14, so I'm like,
What time zone are
what
you?
time zone are you in? It's not your bedtime yet?
It's Friday.
It's Friday night, I guess. No school tomorrow.
Friday.
Kentucky. I've never been to Kentucky.
Ah.
Oh, Wildcats.
Good chicken, though.
Wow.
Is Kentucky Fried Chicken even, I was gonna say it's even later there. Is Kentucky Fried Chicken even remotely as good as real Kentucky Fried Chicken? I know it's a weird sounding question. You know what I mean? I feel like even if it because I like the taste of KFC, but I feel it brutal after I eat it. Maybe real Kentucky Fried Chicken isn't so full of chemicals, but it still tastes awesome.
Ah, poop.
Should have been more aggressive on that one. Got over top of them. Well, I can imagine it's awesome.
Ah.
We're in Canada, so we don't have that kind of. Oh, sorry, Clay.
Oh my goodness.
I was trying to go up the wall and I went right into you.
Oh, get up.
Clear.
That's funny. I bumped him into that ball.
No bedtime on the weekends, eh? So you stay up and watch streamers or play Rocket League yourself? Popeyes. We have Popeyes here. And it is pretty good. Actually, legitimate question. Kentucky Fried Chicken, is it actually, do they actually have it in Kentucky, or is it like a Canadian thing or a different state?
No, it's from the state.
Oh, how did I miss that?
Oh goodness.
They own Tim Hortons now. Oh, no, it's Taco Bell I'm thinking of.
Yeah, that's
No, it's
Yeah,
Burger
Burger
King.
King.
It's not even
Burger
Taco
King
Bell.
owns
Burger King.
nice thing.
Actually, I'm pretty sure Burger King owns Taco Bell as well, though. At least they have a formal partnership agreement of some sort.
Yeah, I don't.
Leonard.
I feel sick whenever I have actual like KFC or not actual KFC, whatever you want to call it. Oh, I hit it right off the goalie. But I would agree. I like the taste of it, but sometimes it's super greasy.
Oh, nice.
Oh, they're making all these saves. I feel like we should have a bunch of goals by now.
They're just clogging the net is what they're doing.
Oh my goodness, I'm hitting the goal post.
Oh my gosh, that was terrible.
Well, good on you. Good if you do it. I'd be pretty sick. Have you started streaming, making videos and stuff? Hit them out of the way, but I couldn't.
Oh, I tried to get out front there.
Just trying to mess them up in their net now. Nice goal. You actually recording everything yet, Kevin? Or stream? Realize it takes a computer on top of having the actual console. And they're crazy expensive right now. Yeah, it's costly, but I mean, save up as you get older, get a job, work towards it.
Oh! Hey, buddy.
That was a nice save.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, tried to hit the guy.
Oh, shoot, sorry, nabbish.
That's okay.
All apart from the fact that I punted you further than I did the ball.
That's always the best when you nail your teammate worse than. I'm like flying upside down right now.
I feel like I barely touched the ball this match. I just. Oh, and then I just about hit it into our net.
Goblins could be in. They didn't clog the net this time.
Go.
There you go, Clint. Good job. Well, you can still stream without the face cam if you wanted to. If your PC's strong enough to do the recordings and stuff. This right now is on an Xbox and a PC, of course, but the gameplay is on an Xbox.
Tell them I got a $3,500 PC without a GPU. Gives them for $2,000.
Plus shipping.
Plus shipping to Kentucky. Send chicken.
Yeah. I want $2,000 and a bucket of chicken.
$2,000 in a bucket of chicken.
I'll wait for it. Oh,
Tried to clear them out.
Jeez, wait.
He almost had that
What is
damage.
what's going on there?
The face cam isn't 100% necessary, no. It's, I'd say, makes it better, but not drastically.
These cams are cheap anyways, and stream it in 720. Takes less bandwidth.
Yeah, you can stream at 720 and you could get a, what's it called? You could get like a, well, I'm using Logitech C920, so those are like $60 American. I'm back. It's alright.
Ouch.
Oh, I had no boost. I went to do a aerial and I'm like, no boost. Gotta be coming back soon. Yep. Good job, good clear. I'm out front.
I didn't know
It's
these guys
rolling
were
out.
gonna miss that.
That works.
The game. There's so much madness going on down there. I'm not even sure what I'm watching half the time.
Have a good night, Maximus. Thanks
That
for
guy was
stopping
trying
by.
to dribble, and then his teammate came and wrecked it on him.
She's my wife, but yes, we stream once a week together, like basically every Friday, and then I stream Tuesdays by myself. This is actually the first time I've streamed on YouTube. I almost always stream on Twitch, but I just wanted to try it out, like to see what it was like. Actually, on that note, Maximus, you might be gone, but like, how's the comparison? What do you think comparison streaming on YouTube versus streaming on Twitch? If you've already gone, no problem.
Nice.
Oh,
nice
that was a
save.
good shot. Tried to block it. But yeah, it's my wife, Nabbish is my wife, and we stream every Friday together, usually on Twitch.
Not usually my Rocket League.
And not usually, so right now, the gameplay, so usually the gameplay is actually mine being streamed.
I just watched all 7 of you go flying into that ball and the ball
Yeah.
didn't move.
Keep running into people, it's like really annoying. Yeah, if you want to check out my Twitch channel too, that's where most of my streams are, and that's just bbish800 as well.
Clear.
Yeah, thank you. Definitely getting the audio right and everything is a big part of it. Syncing the cameras.
I can't remember, do you use a filtered mic or do you use your headset for audio capture?
Right now, tonight I use my headset. When we stream together, I use my headset so that my mic doesn't get picked up by her because she's sitting right beside me.
Yeah.
But I have software filters on everything, on all the audio, not just the mics. That takes a bit of time. Cleans it up. Oh, that's why the other night when you were eating chips, I was like, can you actually hear it? Because the software filters should be cleaning it out.
Go goalie, guys.
Nice, Hamster. Good finish.
I don't know if you noticed, but I needed their goalies. You watch this.
Yes. You just took him out. And Hamster with the
Just
finish.
sit in the net like a butt. Yeah. He just sat there. We coming from a country mile and still didn't kill him. Oh no.
Ah. It is different triggers for. I feel like you're always getting hit.
Quads, you're always running into people. Yeah, it's frustrating.
Because in fours, most of the time, most of your teammates are always going. Oh, poop, that was not good. Most teammates are
Sorry,
always going for the ball.
I was like jumping over you, and I hit it, and I also smashed right into you. Sorry, I didn't just try
Everyone's
to
always
clear it.
going for the ball. Then you're all
Yeah,
Trying to kill the guy and
miss
miss the ball. Oh boy.
Oh, that was a high one. Get out of here.
Oh, you're up there alone.
And then it goes on the wall, and then I just don't know what to do with it.
Oh, free shot! Oh.
Oh, what happened?
Positivity is the key. When you do start streaming and doing YouTube, definitely. Oh my gosh, being positive is huge. It's surprisingly difficult to talk and play Rocket League at the same time. I've noticed that.
It's easier than shooters. Oh. Oh, I shouldn't say anything because it's not like I'm.
It depends on the shooter.
And we win.
Although we won, like.
We've won every
Have we lost?
game. Let's not say that before we.
Yeah. Knock on something.
Ready up, folks.
One more, and then I gotta be done.
Yeah, we'll do one more and shut her down. What do you prefer watching on? Do you prefer watching on YouTube or on Twitch, Gavin? Obviously on YouTube tonight, so. I'm quite torn as to which one I want to stream on more. I think there's a lot more options on Twitch. For cool stuff.
Which one has the better revenue stream like once you got enough viewers?
It really depends on if you make YouTube videos and actually record stuff or not.
Oh no.
Ultimately, at the moment, I'm not doing it for money at all. I'm more doing it for fun. Nice.
Clink.
Thanks. Oh, I wasn't sure if you were trying to set me up or dribble, but I had my shot.
Kind of both. I was just trying to get it past them, which worked. If I do, I don't know them. So, call me old, but possibly?
Oh, wrong way, Nabbish.
Sorry. See? Then I try and do something else.
Oh,
my
that was
God.
bad. It was a double hit. Whoa. So no, I don't think I listened to Juice WRLD. I might, but I wouldn't know specifically. Wow, enough demos there.
Yeah, I got both of them.
Sorry, Nabbish, I was trying to get that to you like more at a nicer
Yeah,
angle.
Oh, I thought that guy
Good
had it.
grief.
I jumped right over the freaking ball.
Mm-hmm.
Centered. Oh man, I got smacked into so much there.
There.
Oh. That one I might. Oh, how'd they go up like that?
Go ahead.
I'll look it up after I'm done the stream tonight, just for you. We were both going to the same angle.
I don't know if I gave you a push.
I was just about to start boosting, and then you just smacked me right into it, luckily.
Oh!
I didn't have a lot of boost, so you helped me get there. It was like the exact same angle that worked out.
I'm back. Fine.
Trying to clear them out more than anything.
Are you trying to hold my car's hand there, Nabbish?
Yeah.
Just don't them all.
Oof. Holla.
Oh, man.
Ouch! Spun right around. Yeah, I think this will be the last game of the stream for tonight. We usually go here 9 p.m. to 11, so 11 to 1 your time on both Tuesdays and Fridays, though. But yeah, thanks for stopping by. Fun that we got to play with you. What? Good clear. Keep it going.
No think.
Yeah, we shouldn't have down after this though.
You like my flick clear on that thing?
I did, that was sick.
Oh, nice
Nice.
shot.
I wasn't sure what they were doing with it. I kind of just hung back for a second because there were all three of them in a ball, and then they kind of all split. I'm like, okay. I was expecting them to jump and try to block it.
Back.
I am not into this Call of Duty. I used to play a lot of Call of Duty. You'll even see on my YouTube channel like some old Call of Duty like crazy sniping clips and stuff, but
Oh, no. Click.
I have not played this one because I do not enjoy it like the other ones, and I don't really know why. I don't mind Warzone, but never really got into it. Super excited for Halo Infinite. Halo is my main, most favorite game to play, stream, and make videos about. Oh,
Oh,
I like half flipped over. I got bumped right when I was jumping, I felt like. I don't know what I did. Might have just been me, I couldn't tell. I think I just leaned back too far. Didn't go straight up.
A little late, maybe. Nice.
That was a
Oh,
perfect face-off.
Yeah. Worked out well.
Nice.
And it was gonna miss, too.
Ah, oop.
Oh, jeez.
I tried to block it, but he hit it later than I was expecting. Good job, Nabbish. I'm out front.
Hey,
Oh boy,
crap.
not that
Oh,
far.
Sorry. I didn't realize I was going that fast.
Nice fish.
Ah,
Oh, we ran into each other right when I was shooting.
Eh. I don't have any boost. How did you say you get back quicker?
Flip.
without boost, you do the front and diagonal. Like you jump forward, and then when you press the A button time, press diagonal left or diagonal right.
Eating candy, hey?
You have to do it
kind of candy are you
twice. Oh, perfect aerial.
Nice.
Or just a nice goal.
It was a very nice shot off the face-off. Hamster just nailed that. Holy. That was like so high. Did it hit your front corner, Hamster?
I think so.
You're back.
My hood. Or bonnet, whichever you want to say.
Bonnet. Bonnet does sound way cooler, but
Eh.
kind of candy eating, Gavin? Feels like it's kind of late to be eating candy, but if you don't have to go to bed at all tonight, I mean, good. If I ate candy right now, I would not sleep for days.
Oh,
I was going in. Need to chip it up, not down. Last one for you.
Yeah, I gotta be done. I can't. I feel
Well,
like
I'm
I've been
shutting
like
it
going in
down.
circles the last couple games.
Thanks for coming by the stream, and thanks for playing, everyone. Have a wonderful night. I'm gonna put some music on and kind of wind it down for the last little bit. So, have a good night. If you want to listen to the music and keep eating, you can. You can. Twizzlers and Kit.
Ooh,
Ooh,
Twizzlers,
Twizzlers and
my
Kit
favorite.
Kats. Oh, I want some Twizzlers now. There we go. Bring some music in for you. Keep eating.
Wish I had some Twizzlers and Kit Kats right now.
Right?
Have a good night.
See ya.